Clyde.
We are...
Or hold on, the missing piece from JJR at the beginning of the year.
Shut up. Don't say that.
I mean, it's the truth. We all know. We all know. You're like the little Tom Landry in there, you know. They were missing the coach.
I wasn't the coach. Philip Dietz is the coach.
I know. He was the Jerry Jones, but anyway.
He was Jerry Jones, Dak, and Mike McCarthy.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't put McCarthy or Dak on his name. That's disrespectful.
Carson was CD Lamb because CD's just a boss.
Oh, my God. Wow. What are you doing with your gloves here? Are you trying to make sure the glove fits? Is this some kind of O.J. Simpson deal?
Grab your phone.
Oh, hold on. Get away, P. Diddy. So anyway, what is going on here? What is
Hold
this?
on, let me go grab another layer and I'll show you.
Another layer? What kind of weird things are you doing in here? Oh my! What is the? Is this the expensive stuff right here?
This is what you call carbon fiber 2x2 3K. This is what we use to construct carbon fiber sprint car bodies on our sprint car molds. Our molds.
Custom molds?
Custom molds that represent parts that go on sprint cars, different designs and stuff. So, for example, this is called a Gen 1 dash. This particular dash is kind of universal. It'll fit on any sprint car chassis, whether it's a wing car, non-wing car, or even Silver Crown.
Okay, so we just saw the first little layer get put on to the actual mold, and now this is a second layer, you're saying?
That's correct. When we construct our parts, we do a minimum of 3 layers, and then somewhere along the lines within the construction of the part, we put reinforcements in critical areas. So, for example, the visor right here, which is where the driver, sees through to look through the rock screen, and then we reinforce this area because your mag boxes, your gauges go right here, and then your Zeus tabs. So we'll reinforce that.
Is that kind of something that maybe somebody who just builds carbon pieces may not know, and your knowledge of sprint car racing and what is important on pieces plays a factor when you're making them?
Yeah, I just think no matter what you're constructing, you want to be able to meet certain strength needs and reinforcement needs for your application. So this application just happens to be sprint cars. So,
but you actually know where certain things are going
Yeah.
versus just a random guy who does them,
Absolutely. So, I was fortunate enough to be able to work on these cars, drive them, and be a part of sprint car racing for the past 8 years of my life, maybe longer than that. And then I know where the tabs need to be, where your gauge goes, where your mag box goes, where the visor is. So all your critical areas to make it appealing for your driver's safety and durability of the part on your race car for multiple nights. We hope to get a year or two out of these parts, so it's up to us to construct it to be able to hold up for the longevity of the part.
Okay, so second layer's going on now.
Right.
What is all this stuff you keep lacquering and pushing and playing with? Once again, P. Diddy, this isn't baby oil, is it?
1,000
I mean, it looks, very similar. I see sticky situations here.
It's sticky when you get to prime, for sure.
Oh my, okay, continue.
So we have our rollers, our squeegees, our brushes, our cups, and what I'm doing now is I'm brushing the epoxy resin with the hardener onto the layer of carbon fiber, and essentially to harden the carbon fiber with the epoxy resin to form your part into your mold. So that's what I'm doing now. As we're constructing it, I'm layering the epoxy on, and then we'll squeegee the excess epoxy off that maybe we don't need. So we know when we build a part how much resin needs to go into these parts and how much to apply.
Okay, and how do you know about how many layers? Does that basically determine the strength?
Yeah, it's just determines the strength. Obviously, you don't want it to be too thin, but you don't want it to be too heavy too. And I feel like we've done a good job to know how many layers are going into the part to get what we think is strong enough and durable enough for your part. Yeah.
Is there you already said there's certain parts that'll get a little more than others, like your bending areas.
Yep, your critical points.
Is there any certain piece of the car, though, that would just overall get an additional layer or a less layer?
Absolutely. We often talk to our customers on maybe what parts that we've built before they would like to see reinforced, and mainly anything on the right side of the race car, because the sprint car is drifting around the corner. You've got your right rear tire. You're constantly being hit with rocks and dirt and debris. So reinforcing the right side of the, I mean, don't get me wrong. No matter if it's the right side of the car or the left side of the car, it's strong as hell. All of our parts have Kevlar in them for structural purposes and longevity of the part.
Are some more than others, or so you can do kind of custom work for teams as well in a way? Say they want that, and specifically, hey, we want another layer, or is it...
If they request another layer, which has happened, then yes, we will throw that in, but then we'll make it our standard because we want every part to be the same. As people may know, I worked for Jason Johnson Racing for 4 years, and after the World Finals, I told Phil I'd work a week to help him unload the trailer, wash the car, stuff like
Which is here in Missouri, obviously. This is based in Missouri.
30 minutes from this shop. Well, so that Monday, my first day of business here, we were all set up, ready to go. I was excited. Woke up, went to the gym, get my morning started off right. I always eat 3 eggs in the morning. That's kind of like my breakfast routine. I eat 3 eggs, just extra fuel in the tank, and a cup of coffee. As I'm coming here in my Kia Forte coupe, some old man and an envoy decides that he's going to go across the street into a Casey's parking lot when the sun was in my eyes. And let's just say my Kia Forte did not stop in time, and I rear-ended him, and I totaled my Kia.
Oh my God! Blessing in disguise. I see a Chevy or a GMC out there now, right?
I do have a truck, which I needed to get in the first place because to haul my daughter around and everything. So it was a blessing in disguise, but that was my first official day in business with PRIME Composite.
Was a wreck on the way to work.
Was a wreck on the way to work. But I did drive that car for about a month with the freaking hood all caved in.
Oh my God!
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was going to do at the time. I'm like, well, I still got to go to and from work. It's not like I could have just bought a truck that day. Like, I had to wait for insurance and stuff and to see if it was even salvageable, and ended up being totaled out. So I literally drove that car to and from work with the hood all, I have a picture of it. It's all caved in and everything to the radiator. I looked like freaking...
The biggest bum in the world.
Biggest bum.
Worse than my car.
No, your car's awesome.
Why? Why would you say such a thing?
Because you've traveled the country in it and Australia. Did you?
No, I did not.
Did you take that thing over water?
It couldn't drive through the water.
Well,
no.
how many miles you got on that thing? I would have thought you did.
Oh my God. Hey, it works.
What does it have? 435,000 miles on it?
Something. I think 37 or 8.
That's impressive.
Not as impressive as Kevlar.
Kevlar is some strong stuff.
And matched with carbon, it's next level, I would assume.
It makes it pretty strong.
It makes it prime.
Prime time, baby.
Where are we going? Oh no, busting the doors open. What the hell is that?
That is a sprint car chassis. So what we're doing here is we're going to vacuum this part. The construction of the part is done. We have our consumables on it, our release film. Some people call it peel ply. And then the breather cloth that goes on top of the release film.
And what is this?
This is the vacuum bag. So we build our own bags. We'll buy them in 100-yard rolls with sealant tape, vacuum composite sealing tape. And then we'll build our bags based on the size of our mold. So for example, this bag's like a 60 by 50. So they have to be pretty good size because this part has a lot of contour in it, so the bag has to form into the mold, so every square inch of the mold gets suction.
And so basically it's kind of creating strength and then at the same time removing excess weight.
Moving excess resin, which adds weight, and then removing air out of the part.
Okay.
Because, like I said, you want 100% fabric to resin ratio. You don't want no air pockets. You don't want extra epoxy. And it's fully cured to fabric to resin ratio.
Okay.
So.
And is this an important part? I mean, most people would think like the layering and everything is the most important, but is this some of the things that makes one carbon body manufacturing process different than another?
Yeah, that's the cool thing about composites is there's multiple ways to do it. We do it different than, say, Fiber does it in North Carolina or I does it in Indianapolis. Everybody does it different with different machinery and stuff. This just works for us and how we can move forward with growth in our company. And I believe every carbon fiber part should be vacuumed, because
And not everyone does that.
not
though?
everybody does that. And some people just don't have either the knowledge, they don't have the equipment and stuff. It's just how I was taught. This is how to do it right. You know what I mean? That way you do get all that extra air out of it. You do get all that extra weight, all the extra epoxy, and your part cures and it bonds properly. And that's basically how I think it should be done, and that's how we've mastered our process.
Well, and I'm assuming it adds a level of consistency as well to the products.
Yeah, consistency. That way, if you do have a problem, you can troubleshoot it. Like, because you know every part you build is the same process and techniques and stuff regarding what size or what mold you're using at that time. So that's just how I was taught and how we wanted to do it in our stable, and this is how we do it.
And so there's a nozzle there that you build into the bag, or you puncture into the bag?
Yeah, we puncture this connector, this air connector, into the bag, because you got to draw the air out somehow, right? And so with this connector, as we hook it up to our vacuum lines in our room, and then that draws all the air out of this part. So you just got to be careful not to make your hole too big or too small for leaks. You know, this is very important to get your bag sealed properly, 100%. We're always checking for leaks and tapes and doing tape tests and all that stuff. So your bag has to be 100% sealed.
Well, and then I guess, you know, out of all these different little nuances that, you know, processes and bags and all that, I guess another area of uniqueness to a brand would be the room behind you, I guess. Is that like a special kind of unique deal that each company has different?
Yeah, every composite business, like I said, goes about it a different way or so. Just based on what they can get their hands on, resourcing equipment, and, you know, unfortunately, just like with anything, it's expensive to have big equipment. Like a lot of composite companies have autoclaves, and they have ovens, and they have CNC machines to help with the process of the construction of the carbon fiber component that you're building at the time. But
being you a small business just starting out, wanting to have the best option or best products you could put out, basically you got to do them different ways.
We got to do them different ways. You know, we work towards getting to that next level in the growth of the business, and to invest in our money in different machinery that maybe can make the process quicker, less messy,
and competitive with those places.
More efficient, competitive. Because when you grow your business, you get more equipment, then that opens your door up to expansion and growth within your company, to not only do just sprint car stuff, but we could do other automotive stuff. The composite world's filled with different industries: aero, marine, space, government, military, medical field. Composites can be built out of anything.
So this is the room.
Yeah, we are in our vacuum room, or cure room, whatever you want to call it. All of our parts get drawn down in this room with our vacuum pumps, and then they sit in here, and with some heat to it. As you can tell, it's a little warm in here. We keep it about 90, and then our parts cure in here. So I'm just kind of applying the bag down to where it will not bridge. Bridging is when your bag doesn't get down on the part, so it's very important that we always keep folding the areas that have contour in them. So we are starting to vacuum.
How long will you leave a part in this room? Will it be based on the size, or is that just your personal preference?
So for example, this part that I just built, this dash, will take about 4 hours to cure. But if it's towards like the end of the day, then we'll leave it in overnight, because we have our pumps on timers, so they'll shut off whenever we have a certain time or whatever. But we usually will keep it in overnight, and then we'll come in the morning and demold everything and see what we got. It's kind of like Christmas. You get to open your presents up.
Every day.
Every day. That's my favorite part of the job, is demolding, because you spend hours building this stuff and prepping for it, and then getting to demold your parts and seeing what you got, that's pretty awesome.
And that's when it comes out all shiny, correct?
All shiny, it's all done, it's all cured, and it's ready to hit the track.
So is that about where you want it?
No, I'm making sure the bag is formed to the part properly, that there's no bridging, and I think we're good, so we're gonna hit it.
What does hit it mean?
It means it's full vacuum. It's just like when an engine gets on the high speed from an idle, you know what I mean? You're on it, you hit it. We're gonna check for leaks. Sounds good. Usually if we have a leak, we'd be able to hear it right off the bat. It'll have to be sucked down at full strength for about 4 hours. In the morning, we will check this part out and we'll demold it, see what we got.
You've already brought in the new a new mold. You got more stuff built in here. What's that all about?
Yeah, we've been working with a guy who requested a certain style, and it sounds like we're going to be able to produce a lot of them. So we just look into how we can move certain products and if it's worth making mold out of, and we're confident that this particular style will sell really good, and a lot of people run them. It's something we didn't have before, but now we got them built. Like I said, a local mold maker company around here in Missouri built these for us, and then we're going to put them into production probably next week.
And now, this is the dash you were constructing yesterday, so this is kind of the turnaround. You let it set in there overnight, I guess?
Yep. So now we're in the morning of Thursday. We built it Wednesday. So what we did, we came in here this morning and we demolded it out of the vacuum bag. And so the part is still sitting in the mold. So we're going to reveal it as we're going to pop it off. We took the vacuum bag off of it, and then we took the release film and the breather cloth off of it. So now we're just going to see what we have. So,
and that cloth, does it add anything different here if it was missing some pieces, or the vacuum, or the whole process? What would something without that look like? Would it be completely different?
It would be completely different. I don't think the surface would be as clean and as crisp as, you know, how we do it with our consumables. So definitely all our steps have to make sense and to provide the best quality product that we have. So
under this, what is it? What are we expecting here?
We're expecting a clean, shiny carbon surface. You know, something looks really shiny and durable and lightweight. And so I'm confident that that's what we're gonna get. I did break it loose, so all I have to do is pull it out of the mold. So that's what we're gonna do. So this is kind of the finished product out of the mold. So
I guess you could still polish it up or whatever. I guess you do that before you send them out, or
no, we don't even do that because proper mold prep gives us the quality and the shininess we need. So that's something that we do in house a lot. Is we resurface and recondition our molds, so we don't have to put a polish on the carbon or anything. You know, we want it to come out perfect, and all we'll have to do now is just trim the perimeters of all the extra material that was overlaying. And then upon customer request, we have a scribed throttle linkage cutout. So we'll cut that out for the customer, and then it'll be on its way with the body kit this team ordered. So that's pretty nice. Like I said, there's no blemishes anywhere. The vacuum bag got all the air out of it. Our seams look good. And as you can tell, it's pretty solid.
And how heavy is it? Let me see how heavy this is. Oh, wow.
It's really light.
Wow.
I bet you it don't even weigh a pound, if not 2.
Wow.
But you see this yellow here? That's Kevlar. So this dash does have Kevlar in it, reinforced critical areas. So if you're in the sprint car, your driver's sitting here, you have your steering wheel right here, so this dash would be just like this. So you want to make sure this area in particular, all around here, is reinforced, and then reinforced for your Zeus buttons because you don't want them to waller out. So that's kind of the finished product on a Gen 1 dash. So.
Okay. And so a lot of people, you know, they hear carbon fiber, they get scared of the money. Obviously, we've heard the crazy numbers, you know, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for a sprint car body, carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Because price is always what I feel like scares people away from carbon materials.
Yeah, your local teams may bat an eye at it, you know, because obviously it's more than fiberglass. But I tell people all the time, you're investing in your race car whenever you're buying carbon fiber parts, because carbon fiber parts are going to last you probably 3-4 times the amount of fiberglass will. It's just more durable and stronger and lightweight for performance. But you're talking a complete body that we offer is around probably $2,400 to $2,700 for the complete sprint car carbon fiber body. We're here for the racers. I know this stuff can be hard to get and it can be expensive, but we want to make it affordable for everybody, no matter if you have a 305 or you're running on the World of Outlaw Tours. My main focus is to give the sprint car world the best quality, reasonable priced carbon fiber bodies out there in the market. That's our number one goal right now, and we're fixing to meet it. And I hope to be the largest composite manufacturer in sprint car racing. And then from there, maybe we can look at different options into other forms of motorsports, like asphalt, late models, even modifieds.
What about micros and stuff?
Micros, midgets, I'd love to get a handle on that. And because obviously I know a lot of people that race midgets and micros that come from sprint cars, so it could be a trickle-down effect. But that all has to do with getting the proper molds and stuff to be able to build those bodies. So
right.
That's what the growth pattern is going to look like for us in the near future.
Oh, and I mean, obviously the biggest part of that is creating an Illuminati logo. How did you come up with the logo? I mean, it's the upside down pyramid oval. Gosh. Freemasonry is written all over that. What made you go with the logo? Why Prime?
Prime, so
Logan Paul?
No, not the Pauls, not Amazon Prime, not Prime Trucking. So if you look up in the dictionary what Prime, the definition of Prime is, it's quality of excellence, and that's what we thrive to produce, is the quality of excellent carbon fiber sprint car bodies. So that's where I came up with Prime.
And then Composite Innovations, because that is technically a composite. It's in the composite family, the carbon fiber mold.
And I got told from a couple business owners that you don't want to associate your personal name. I could have been like Clyde's Carbon or whatever, you know what I mean? But how long would that name, you know, the brand could have been cool, but I think with Prime, it references a quality part that leaves our shop to go on your race car, and we're confident that we produce that day in and day out.
What are some teams that have your stuff on them, and what are some teams you think are going to start running them?
The 41 in particular, Jason Johnson Racing,
are going to start, or they have been?
They have a Prime body that they've put on their car for the Knoxville Nationals. They ran it, and then the Jackson Nationals, they ran it, and then that car's been sitting since. But next year, they did place their order for 2025. Another notable driver or team would be Clausen Marshall Racing with Tyler Courtney, Anthony Macri, Brock Zierfoss, Logan Schuhart, Jacob Allen. A lot of Pennsylvania, Ohio. We sell all across the nation. Chase Johnson had our product on his car. I wish him all the best in his recovery. I hope it's fast. But a lot of local guys around here, and like I said, this is our first year in business, so we're networking with big teams, and we needed to get our product out there on the track so that it can prove itself, and it has time and time again. So it's won the 360 Nationals with Tyler Courtney. It's ran two of our guys ran in the top 5 Knoxville Nationals. That does matter to us. Results matter, obviously. If you're an engine builder, you want to beat everybody. You know, I feel the same way. I'm a competitor by heart, and I want to see our stuff win. So no matter who's running it.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Nothing else?
Nope. Everybody subscribe. Sure? Everybody subscribe to the chat. Long live the Chaz on YouTube. Oh
God! And your little shrine in here. Look at this red building. What's the background on this? I mean,
so this building, it has a lot of character in it. It used to be an old motorcycle shop.
Oh, Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, they had a retail store, Cruising Crows, and then they repaired and built bikes, choppers in here. And then they went out of business, and this building was up for release, and so we got in here, and now we're doing race car stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, and then this car over here, we noticed it earlier. What the hell is this car? Before we sign off.
This is Carson's Knoxville crashed car.
The fire, the one.
You had the famous YouTube video.
Yeah, I guess, yes.
So as you can tell, that's where the fuel cell was. That's where the fire occurred. It's all kind of burnt and all in disarray. So the
car looks like it held together relatively well.
Yeah. Maxim, they build a good quality product. But this car in particular holds a lot of, I guess, sentimental value to me because I'm the one who built this car and I'm the one who tore it down after the crash. And seeing a good buddy of mine like Carson walk away from something that catastrophic that could have been way worse than what it was.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank goodness for the Knoxville safety crew and fire and rescue for getting him out alive, and the medical at Knoxville, the hospital there, for checking them all out.
Luckily it happened there. There's a lot of tracks where something like that would have happened. It would have been Angelique Bellish, what to do, can't put the fire out, stuff like that.
And
I noticed that, speaking of bodies, I noticed that ever since then, a lot of guys stopped running the enclosed bodies due to that incident. I know that Brad Sweet was one of them that I noticed that switched and hasn't ever went back.
Yeah, I think there's multiple advantages to opening your door up for Brad. It was the airflow through the cockpit. It was qualifying. So they at one time they were qualifying without the door, then racing with the door. So I think they completely eliminated the left door. Now they run the safety panel.
But I noticed he only really switched after that. It seemed like this scenario, because it seemed like a lot of people were somewhat blaming the difficulty to get Carson out on being enclosed.
Right, and where with Carson's crash is he was knocked out.
Right.
So they had to get him out of there. Now, if a driver is conscious when your car, say Chase Randall in Knoxville, if he's conscious, your wing is caved in, so that automatically excludes your access to get out of the race car. So if you can have an extra opening, meaning the left side, take it. Don't risk something. If it's weighing on you, and if that's the route that you want to do, I encourage to open up that left side. So if a situation does occur to where you wreck and your car does catch fire, then you can get out safely, precaution. But
and there's safety advantages to being enclosed as well. Out exterior things getting in or into the car. Look at what happened to Wayne Johnson at TMS. If he had a door, that may not have been able to happen to Wayne.
I know. That's why I just tell racers who question it, just go with what you think is right. My opinion may not matter to somebody who's a fan of the left door or as someone who runs a sail panel. So personal preference, obviously, but I encourage the left door being off the race car and having it open. But yeah, anything can happen. These cars are rockets.
Well, I encourage a new rocket. I think that's the issue.
I know where you stand.
There's nowhere for the guy to go. Look at that. It hasn't developed in 30 years. You could add some length, add some width, and fix pretty much every issue we're having with putting guys in wheelchairs. And and when you do that, if you was to innovate, then you could innovate a closed door that has something NHRA style, or it has some kind of latch that you can pull, or maybe the fuel cell isn't an impact point of the vehicle, and we don't have non-SFI fuel bladders in every single car. There's just a lot of on one of the most dangerous race cars in the world, there's not much innovation to make them any less, it seems like. Besides a bottle that, don't stay on the car sometimes.
Yeah, the bottle, getting that secured is important. And I know they're moving into the chasm system for the driver, like NASCAR and F1 and Indy kind of do. But so that's good that they're taking those precautions to make the driver's safety more important. But I think what makes sprint car racing so good is the traditionality of the car. Like you said, it hasn't changed in 30 years, and there's a reason behind that, because the overall structure of the race car, the size of it, hasn't necessarily changed. You may get a custom frame that's bigger than others if you're taller, or maybe weigh more and want to race these cars, but I think that's what makes sprint car racing so cool, is that it hasn't changed. I talked to a lot of people while I was on the road. It's like, damn, these cars are they're simple. They haven't changed since 1979, or even before that. So open wheel with your V8 small block Chevy, custom engine, and your fuel cell, all the lines run right across the legs of the drivers, and your torque tube, like the torque tube was a Henry Ford deal, and that hasn't changed in a sprint car since its existence. So in an aspect, it's cool, but manufacturers and tech, safety and tech and sprint car races need to work better to come up with different ideas to make it safer for the driver.
No, well, I mean, but room is an issue. We're only working with so many inches, and if it don't go faster, nobody's going to really do it, even if it is a little safer, So, I mean, there is no room. I mean, I think that's one of the main reasons you got to be jockey sized to really perform most of the time. We do have our few examples, but you got to be jockey sized, because if you're not jockey sized, you don't really feel comfortable in the car.
Well, that's why they make custom seats and taller cages to suit the driver's needs.
But a lot of those are not performancely an advantage. They don't really perform well when you have to go with the Big Max chassis or something. It seems like it's really hard to make some of those cars work because you're not working in that box that the jockeys can work in.
Yes and no. It's all about your knowledge and skill setting up the race car and getting it to work. There's advantage. I've seen guys.
And Carson's not a small guy, but
no, he's
one of the bigger ones.
Him and I are about the same height and size and everything. And I race these cars too. Minimal leg room, minimal. A lot of guys that we run into, their elbow hits the arm guard, so fitting their needs on the right side of the race car. So you're you're driving a rocket on a smaller dirt track, so your elbows are constantly turning and. There's a lot of movement going on, but all your chassis manufacturers, they offer the customer to come in and build a custom race car. So, like, these bars can change.
Right.
I mean, yes, the standard is to put them in the right spot every time, but if you're a driver with a bigger seat and you're a bigger guy, like, you can request the cage to come back or move your seat bar down or up or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
For example, Rico Abreu, they customized their car for his needs. It's no different than, say, a guy like Dale Blaney, who's 6'2", 6'3", and Danny Dietrich, who are tall. They have tall cage cars. So, in my opinion, it would be really cost effective to completely change the race car, because think of how many sprint cars are out there throughout the country and Australia and stuff. In my opinion, I would rather see something with the fuel cell rather than changing the cockpit of the race car. I think the fuel cell is a touchy subject to a lot of people. A lot of people want to bolt it on and keep it on. A lot of people want to see it leave the race car. I would like to see it leave the race car, but then you're getting all that fluid onto the racetrack and a potential hazard for it to go in the stands. That argument with it going in the stands, my per se is, if they're going to wreck early in the race, they have 30 gallons of race fuel in it. So what are the chances that amount of weight and size is going to fly into the stands? It's probably not. The percentage is really low.
Right.
Now, later in the night where the fuel burns off, where it gets lighter and lighter, it could, if you do get in a really bad wreck, if your track doesn't have a catch fence, it could have a hazard for the fans sitting in the stands. Right. But so it's a catch-22 deal.
Well, no matter how safe or innovative you could be, I mean, you look at the Indy 500, not this year, but last year.
The wheel.
I mean, and they're at the peaks, peak of a facility, peak of safety innovation, and they still have a potentiality. Things can go bad at any point. I do agree with the fuel cell. I have heard recently through some conversations, though, and I think this is the biggest scare, and I think NASCAR's finally getting held accountable for doing this. Apparently, there is potentiality, or a rumor, I guess, that there is a new fuel cell, and it is going to come out in 2 years, and it's going to be through only one manufacturer and one place, and you have to have that fuel cell.
Patent kind of, yeah.
Yes. So, but that is also, well, like I said, NASCAR, they used to have, like we do, different chassis manufacturers, different body makers. Then they started getting kickbacks. Then they started getting in with the manufacturers and taking this and mandating a specific manufacturer to make a certain part, or a specific body that has to come from a specific builder. And that's the problem with safety innovation, is getting caught into that. Who's going to be the highest bidder or give us the biggest cut? you know, if you're a series, to mandate this part or mandate this chassis.
Agreed.
You know,
I think that's what makes sprint car racing so great, is because of how many different engine builders, chassis builders, competition within the build of the race car. You know what I mean? That there's no monopoly unless you're Hoosier. Realistically, you know, if you like Kistler racing engines, you're going to go buy a Kistler. If you like a Ryder, you go buy a Ryder, and so on and so forth. So there's diversity within sprint car racing. I think that's what thrives the sport, because if you're a fan of this builder and you've been with them for years and you got a personal relationship with each other, and they work with you on your race team, like if sprint car racing, I look at it as a family. You know, we help each other out here. Yeah, you may have some beef here and there, but there's so many different options to buy what you need and for people to make it happen, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, back to beef, your favorite seat ever is Ultra Shield, probably.
Ultra
Shield. The owner of the company. You love them.
BP. I ran a Butler built, but
no. But that's the issue with innovation and safety is it seems like it is casted over until you can monetize the safety innovation. You know, and that's where the issue for the ones making the regulation or the rule.
Yeah, until some big investor comes in and just buys the whole market. You know what I mean? And then boom, you have a patent,
or if they choose, or if
it's a money game too. You know, that's what capitalism is. But it's just people got to outsmart people and work harder, and meritocracy wins at the end of it.
Oh yeah, but that's the problem with capitalism, is sometimes it goes to communism because it overinflates itself and you become one rule.
Right.
So that's how capitalism. The way you go from capitalism to communism is you get sold out.
Do you want to sit down?
That's how you get sold out. One guy comes in and turns it into a totalitarian system, and that's kind of how that happens. I'm not trying to get you in trouble, Clyde. Your carving looks good.
Thank you.
We just got to keep it safe. If we do want to innovate safety, then mandate something and let everybody still compete. Don't just, in my opinion, don't say, here's one manufacturer, here's one fuel cell, here's one chassis, here's how you do it, here's one body you got to buy from this place. It still has to have that. You have to protect the free market. If you don't have a free market, you don't have capitalism. I think America has that issue.
Well, and that's, like I said,
we're sold out.
Like I said, that's why I think sprint car racing is great, because it has thrived on a free market industry.
Right.
I mean, a guy that has a machine shop can make custom rear and front arms on your sprint car. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you can go run it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the freedom of building it. Now you're taking the risk to make sure it can hold up properly. And you do have your XYZ machining. You have Stevie Smith and you have TI-22, XXX, like, that do make components that maybe people buy from that give them peace of mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you can, the free market is open in sprint cars. If you want to build a jig and build your own car, you have the opportunity to do that. Or engines. You know, I was talking to Aaron Long, that owns the 58 car AL Driveline out in Pennsylvania. He built his own engine that Chase Randall was in for the National Open.
It's a quick car too,
and it was super quick. You know, Thorson was in it last year,
and a lot of these exclusives are almost build your own in a way. Like you think of Garrett, it's very exclusive, so it's almost like a guy just building an engine in a shop for a specific reason. Or Capetta,
for sure.
You know, these are very exclusive motors. Morrison is now moving up, which is kind of like the loins of the Garrett line in a way.
Yep.
So,
in my opinion, competition's good because it keeps people thriving for better quality and a better product. It's a matter of working hard and showing up every day, putting in the effort.
And putting Kevlar and carbon.
Putting Kevlar and carbon for sprint cars. You want it to last or you want it to fall apart? You tell me.
Oh, no. Okay. We got to get away or you're going to get in trouble, Clyde. We got to get away.
Wasn't this supposed to be like only 3 minutes?
Yeah. Nephilim. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for stopping by the Chaz. It's been an honor. You were in for I-70 in Wheatland.
Right.
And I think you're heading to TMS for the high limit finale. So.
Yeah, I'm planning on busting up the banquet. We'll go up in there and like.
So I appreciate you stopping by the shop, and I hope you learned something.
Yeah. Well, my next goal is to learn who, built a career on firing off the confetti. There's the guy who does the confetti every night in Victory Lane.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering what you prep your life for to become that guy. That's got to be hard. You prepped your life to do this.
If he loves what he does and you can't dog on him.
God. I guess I got to look in the mirror with that comment. Huh? Oh, my God. Okay. Well, I guess Doug's bar is closed.
Yeah, Doug is my business partner, Doug Hetrick, who owns...
It does say Doug's bar. That's what I'm saying.
He owns C&D Rigging out of Pennsylvania. They sponsor Macri, Schuhart, Zier Foss, and Bill Rose.
It's a big market, the PA market, for sure. So
yeah, PA is a good market to be in. So we're thankful for Doug being involved with Prime Composites, and he's helped me in many different ways on the business side of it. And yeah, here we are going into year 2.
Okay.
So www.prime-composites.com. We got a full-blown website up. Every product we have is on the website. You can go check out pricing, descriptions, what it would fit on your race car, and turnaround times, and contact us for any ordering or inquiries for quotes and stuff.
All right. So everybody who ordered yesterday were responsible for your 30-minute delay in turnaround time.
That's right.
So,
because you showed up.
So I have to pay you now for your time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, get that checkbook out.
Oh God. Whatever, Phil.